Good afternoon and welcome back to Concordia Stadium here on the campus of Concordia University Chicago for the back half of today's soccer doubleheader. This time it is the CUC men's soccer team playing host to the Olivet Nazarene University. Peter Borkowski here on the Cougar Sports Network, joined by Van Gato. And Van, let's take a look at these two teams coming in. Let's start with the Cougars coming in, first year under head coach Brad Callahan, still looking for that first win under him, though. 0-3 on the year. They actually played in their first home game this past Wednesday. Unfortunately, they dropped that one to St. Francis 4-1. But despite the record, Van, there are a couple of standout players on this roster. Two names that really come to mind are Garrett Pointer and Elias Di Santiago.
Pointer coming in at 3 goals this season, and De Santiago, he is doing just as hot with 3 goals too.
Both of them. Pointer with 3 goals in his 3 games played, so he's averaging a goal a game. He leads the team with 6 points and also 10 shots. Meanwhile, Di Santiago not trailing him too far in that shot category with 9. And, Van, another thing is in the opening weekend for this team, which was this past weekend, they were at a tournament out in Indiana. Di Santiago as well as Pointer both named to that all-tournament team. So those are two guys to watch offensively for the Cougars. Meanwhile, a little look at the Olivet Nazarene University Tigers. They're coming into today 2-1 on the year. Most recently, they had their first loss of the season September 5th. That was this past Tuesday. It was a 2-0 loss at Kalamazoo. So we got a good one shaping up here today as the Cougars taking on the Tigers in the battle of the Big Cats. We're going to send it down to field level now for starting lineups and national anthems, and we'll be back in just a second for opening kickoff. Well, the starters have been read, so we're about to get underway here. Let's go through those starters one more time for everyone, watching at home. First off, for the visiting Olivet Nazarene Tigers in goal, it is the number 0, Juan Chagoya. And then at forward, number 7, Malachi Perkins. Also at forward, number 11, Ruben Perez. At midfield, number 12, Juan Aguilar. At forward, number 16, Dylan McCoy. At the midfield, number 21, Roberto Velasquez. And number 24, David Garcia. On defense, it's number 26, Titus Rivas. Number 28, Caleb Villalobos, and number 31, Braden Connors. And then rounding out the lineup at midfield, it is number 32, Luke Swallow. Meanwhile, for your Concordia University Chicago Cougars, starting in goal is number 35, Joseph Perez. And at defense, number 2, Julian Yanez. Number 3, Andrew Lechuga. At forward, it's number 7, Garrett Pointer. At midfield, number 10, Spencer Nicholson. And number 12, Giovanni Velasquez. On defense, number 14, Evan Perez. At midfield, number 21 and number 22, Roberto Romero and Elias Di Santiago. Defense, Brandon Aries at number 24, and rounding up the lineup is number 30, midfielder Alexander Lekowitz. And we are underway here in River Forest. Cougars taking on the Tigers. Cougars wearing their home whites, moving right to left on your screen, while Olivet Nazarene in their traveling purples with white sleeves and white lettering. They'll be moving left to right at this first half. So Cougars' first trip into the Tigers' own third results in a goal kick for Chagoya, a sophomore out of St. Anne, Illinois. Now Garrett Pointer misses the header there, gets caught in a couple of defenders. Spencer Nicholson puts one in front of the net, and coming out to grab it safely is Chagoya. Goal keep for the Tigers. Well, Chagoya's opponent in the other goal is Joseph Perez, having himself a solid season so far. Has struggled a little bit in the last game or so, but before that was absolutely excellent. But because of the last game, he now sits at a .500 save percentage, 9 goals allowed, 9 saves, a .387 goals against average in just over 209 minutes. So Olivet Nazarene now will kick it in, try to start their first offensive drive of the day. This one gets caught in the middle third. Now Cougars back in control of it thanks to Julian Yanez. Now they're taking it back, taking careful care of the ball. Coming up now is Evan Perez, and getting a turnover is Olivet Nazarene. So they're in control of it now. They move it back to their own third, and now they'll try to start their advance again. But Spencer Nicholson, and he gets knocked down to the ground. That's going to be a flag. Cougars will maintain possession here.
Seems like the Cougars this season really need to work on their defensive side. On the offensive side, Pointer and De Santiago have been kicking in hard and hot compared to the amount of goals have been turned over. So during this game, the Cougars need to focus on making sure that their defense is as strong as their offense. A key to a good team is a good defense. Compared to the Tigers, which they, for their varsity team, they have gone 2-1, and this is their JV roster. So it's a little different, but we're going to see different numbers here.
Well, before we look a little deeper into that, Garrett Pointer issued a yellow flag. You saw he was talking to the referee, and then he just puts that one on net. It's saved by Chagoya, first save of the day for either keeper. Pointer unhappy about something. That's what drew that yellow card. But like Van was saying, defense has been an issue for this Cougars team as a whole so far this year. 3.67 goals allowed per game. That is over 2 goals from their goals per game mark, which is 1.67. So a 2-goal difference in how many they're giving up a game and how many they're putting in the back of the net per game. And like Being said, not a complicated formula. You got to be able to put goals in and keep goals out if you want to pull off some wins. That's something this Cougars team has struggled to do so far. As the ball takes a couple bounces in the middle third, CUC trying to gain control of it. Nazarene doing a good job of just muddying up that middle third to keep the ball moving around. It goes out of bounds, but the throw-in from CUC. Nazarene now moves it back towards their own goal, trying to maintain possession. They kick it out off their own defender, so CUC will get another throw-in here. Going back to do it will be number 12, Velasquez. Giovanni Velasquez, 6'1" junior out of Cicero, Illinois. Not too far from River Forest here. Olivet moves it into the middle third. That was Malachi Perkins trying to get control of it. Here come the Cougars now. They're going to move it all the way back to Perez, who is well out of his goal. He was up around the 25-yard line. As now he retreats back to the net, coming up to get possession of that ball. CUC moves it up the near sideline. Here comes DeSantiago. He's looking for a cross. Now he sends it up the middle, and it's going to get bounced out by the defender, Braden Connors. Eventually rolls off Olivet Nazarene, and now for the throw-in is Brandon Aries. As the Cougars move it back to Perez once again in goal. Lekowitz goes back, moves it to the far sideline. Over 5 minutes have passed now here in River Forest. 39:53 reads the clock left here in the first half. CUC, the only team to muster up a shot on goal. Jagoya was there with the save. All of that now. The free kick will try and get something started here. They'll kick it off from about the Cougars' 32-yard line. This one's going to roll all the way to the net. Coming out to grab it is Perez, so erases any chance there for Olivet's team. Nice heads-up play from Joseph Perez. Able to snag that ball before anything drastic happens. And now Cougars trying to move it out of their end. They're going to have to wait, as coming out to play it was Braden Connors. Now here's Aries. Back to Velasquez. He's getting cornered. Able to keep it in just barely. Aries set for a throw-in. Finds Nicholson, who puts it right back to Aries. Aries pops it up, and it's headed back towards the Cougar side by Caleb Villalobos. Aries back for another throw-in. Just about the same spot he did the last one. Tries to get it to Pointer. It comes out. Last touch, Olivet Nazarene. So Cougars, another throw-in once again by Aries. Looking for a good target. Tries to get to Pointer. Two Olivet defenders come together. They'll head it out. So CUC slowly moving down the near sideline. And here's a throw-in from Lechuga. Is instead bounced around by Nazarene. They're going to move it up the near sideline now. Handling the ball was David Garcia. He got cornered, so he had to give it away. Here's Aries for the Cougars now. Finds himself the loose ball. Garrett Pointer back to Velasquez. Velasquez trying to look ahead. DeSantiago Pointer, he got tangled up with his defender, Connors. The ball is going to move back towards the middle third. At least that's what it looked like before Roberto Romero able to come out of nowhere, snag it. Spencer Nicholson, he had it for a second. Now the ball is moving towards the near sideline. Kicked by Olivet Nazarene, and Aries a good job to keep it in the corner. Whistle blows. They're going to say he stepped out. And we'll throw in here for Olivet Nazarene. A hefty throw in. DeSantiago coming up to head it back towards the goal. Now the Cougars trying to make something happen, more specifically Pointer trying to make something happen. DeSantiago's there. Pointer's there now. He's going to dish it back out to the near sideline. Romero tried to find Velasquez. Instead, dribbles to Yanez. Coming out of nowhere is DeSantiago. He pushes ahead now. A big kick here as it's rolling down the near sideline, well into the Cougars' third. Cougar defender Yanez gets tripped up. Now here's Olivet, Nazarene. Here's Perez. Perez shoots on Perez. Saved by Joseph Perez. The Cougars, Perez wins that one out. Shot on goal by Ruben Perez of Olivet Nazarene. And Joseph Perez stands tall for his team. And Van, you want to talk about momentum there. Olivet obviously had a very good scoring chance, but as in any sport that has a goaltender like soccer, hockey, lacrosse, able to get a big stop on a one-on-one situation like we saw there, that could be a big key turning point for the Cougars and their momentum.
The Cougars with Perez. Perez is in his 5th year as a graduate student here at Concordia. He is a strong-willed, determined Cougar, and has that mental that allows him, when shots like that are coming at him, with that momentum, just to stay strong and collective.
Perez, as Van mentioned, is a graduate student. It is his 5th year as a Cougar, though, as Olivet coming in. Here's going to be another shot, and it's taken away from Malachi Perkins. Didn't really get too much on it, so the Cougars defender is able to make the most out of it, get the turnover. But Joseph Perez didn't appear in too many games last season, as he only played in 5, made just 1 start for 211 total minutes. He's already just about surpassed that total this year, but his 2021 season, which was when this CUC men's soccer team made the conference tournament, he was absolutely excellent. And 15 of CUC's games, he made 8 starts, led the Northern Athletics Collegiate Conference with an .816 save percentage, which is 4th all-time for a Cougar goalie in a single season. He had 3 straight shutouts played in from October 9th to 16th. Him and that duo of Nicholas Pursuit were absolutely unbeatable for CUC, and they ended it with a NAC All-Conference second-team honor. So after a season where he didn't get too much playing time, Perez looking to get back to that 2021 shape. Deep ball launched towards the Olivet net, headed away by Brandon Connors. Spencer Nicholson dealing through traffic, gives it to Pointer. Pointer's going to center it. Andrew Lechuga stopped by the goalie, Chagoya. Andrew Lechuga, a perfect chance. I think they're going to wave that it was offsides anyways, as the players casually strolling back to their positions. It didn't go past Chagoya, so even if it wasn't offsides, it was going to be a save. But excellent chance there for the Cougars, just not turning out in their favor. But, Van, even though that one didn't end in a goal, you got to see that as a good sign for CUC. Really their first good scoring chance we've seen this afternoon, so you're hoping they can just build off that, get more chances like that.
Make sure we keep the ball on our side with that, too. Seeing that as a common thread, making sure the momentum stays on the Cougars side compared to the Tigers side.
Well, with the nice spin move, Perez and net for CUC able to avoid his pursuer. That was Ruben Perez. He was the one who got that shot off on the one-on-one where Joseph Perez stood tall. If it sounds complicated, it is, because it is right now. 3 Perez's on the field. Brothers Joseph and Evan on it for CUC side. And then Ruben Perez, number 11 in purple for Olivet Nazarene. So got 3 Perez's out on the field right now, 2 on the same team. Extra clarification needed. Meanwhile, it's Giovanni Velasquez. Gets set for the free kick. Olivet spending some decent time down in CUC's territory. Now here's a long kick down. Garrett Pointer receives it on his chest. Now he's going to try and juke out the defense. Loses it. Spencer Nicholson comes in to help. Olivet able to head it away. Trying to move it up the near sideline. Instead, CUC gets possession right back. Here's Velasquez to the middle. DeSantiago trying to look ahead. Instead, he elects to go to the far sideline in Evan Perez, younger brother of Cougars goalie Joseph Perez, both of whom are from Crystal Lake, Illinois. Here's Velasquez near sideline with Aries. Aries dealing through traffic. Got trapped in a triangle, and Olivet able to get a turnover off of it. Nicholson now. Lechuga moves it up the far sideline. It's a race to it between Connors and Pointer. Connors able to win it. Moves it up the far sideline. And here comes Connors. He's got a full head of steam here trying to race ahead of the Cougars defense. Tried to center it. Instead, there's Alexander Lekowitz. Kicks it away. Now whistle blown. Foul on Cougars Spencer Nicholson. Came up and gave his player he was defending too much of a push from behind. So free kick coming up for Olivet. 30-48 left to go here in the first half as this one kicked towards the CUC net. It's bounced out. Here's DeSantiago now. He's going to move it up the near sideline. Full head of steam. Dishes it ahead. And here comes Velasquez. He's got a good chance here. Velasquez, and he gets bumped by his defender. He's going to center it, and it's kicked up and away by the Nazarene defender. Excellent defense there. That was from Roberto Velasquez. Excuse me, I believe that's actually Luke Swallow, number 32 in purple, able to kick it up and away from the goal. Cougars still on the prowl, though. Here's Spencer Nicholson trying to get that ball, and he's wrestled off of it by Villalobos. And it's going to be a corner kick now for CUC, their first of the game. So Spencer Nicholson, a prime opportunity to make something happen here as CUC gets in their alignment. Nicholson puts up the hand and dishes this one towards the middle, and it's going to go up and be grabbed by Chagoya. Heads-up play from the Olivet Nazarene keeper, and he erases any scoring chance there.
Tigers have been really effective as slowing down the momentum on the Cougars side, making sure the ball shifts in their court most of the game.
Yeah, they're doing a good job of just muddying things up. Whenever the Cougars come down with a full head of steam, Olivet's usually there to, as Van said, slow it down and make this Cougars offense really earn it. And Spencer Nicholson sent flying by Roberto Velasquez. So whistle blown, flag on number 21, Velasquez, for Olivet Nazarene. So Cougars get a free possession out of it. Now this one's sent ahead too far as Chagoya is going to come out and make the grab. Gets set for his kick as now Garrett Pointer's going to try come and pressure him to make something happen. Chagoya rolls it to Swallow, Luke Swallow, sophomore from New Lenox, Illinois. Olivet Nazarene moving it up and down the far sideline as there's a turnover caused by Spencer Nicholson. He's in the middle now. He's going to settle himself, look for his options. He sends it towards the far sideline. It's still caught in the middle, though. It was DeSantiago was Nicholson's target. David Garcia got in the way. But CUC gets possession back. Pointer now, middle of the field. Gives it to DeSantiago. Dribbles around the defenders. Here comes Velasquez. Velasquez is just going to shoot it, and it is wide right and up. So shot from CUC does not hit the net, though. And now we'll get a goal kick coming from Chagoya. Chagoya instead elects to let his defender, Braden Connors, deal with it. Connors near sideline to Titus Rivas from St. John, Indiana, Illinois Lutheran High School alum. Here's a turnover caused by CUC. Yanez tries to dish it up to Velasquez. He's got to fight for it with the number 12, Juan Aguilar. Velasquez able to win that battle, give it to his team. Pointer now works around his defenders, puts on the burners who try and speed through everyone, eventually loses it, try to run through a triple team. Went about as expected. Aries now. He controls it, gives it to Nicholson. Nicholson flips it ahead to Pointer, but it gets to Shigoya before Pointer's able to get a foot on it. And Van, even though Shigoya hasn't been doing a ton in terms of saves, he only has one on the day, he's been very productive in terms of coming out, grabbing that ball, and just shutting down any CUC play before it happens. So, again, even though it's not the saves that he's getting it done through, he's still making his presence known by just keeping this offense away from the goal.
As a keeper, you got to make sure you keep the defensive side in flow and try to make sure you control that side. So he's doing an effective job of making sure the Tigers are smooth, collected, and just strong on defense.
Centering kick from Aries. It sails over the head of Evan Perez. Looked like a pretty good centering kick, just too much on it for Perez to get to. So Chagoya now set for another goal kick. Olivet Nazarene spending a lot of time on their third, but so far nothing has come of it as we're still tied 0-0, 25-28 left to go here in the first half. Approaching the halfway mark of half number one. And the CUC team 0-3 on the year thus far, looking for their first win. Hoping it's coming up against Olivet Nazarene. Should specify this is ONU's reserve men's soccer team. So this is not the official ONU team, part of the NAIA. This ball skips across in front of the goal. Going to be a fight for it, but CUC just looking to get one win to kind of get some momentum started. And there's a fight for the ball between Caleb Villalobos and Brandon Aries. Ends in victory for Olivet. So it's going to be a goal kick for Chagoya, who instead is going to let Connors do the honors. Brandon Connors revs up and launches this one. It's going to land right in front of the 45-yard line on Olivet's Nazarene side. Instead, CUC keeps it dirty, and now this one kicked ahead by Ruben Perez. Can he get a shot off? He can't. Alexander Lekowitz right there kicks it away and out. Olivet Nazarene retains possession, but Lekowitz doing a good job of shutting down what could have been a one-on-one between Ruben Perez and Joseph Perez. Throw in from Ruben Perez, and now he tries to center it. And here's a shot, and it's up and off. It looks like it hit somebody, though, as it almost bounced back in play. It does go out off CUC, which means we're going to get a corner kick for Olivet Nazarene. As David Garcia, his corner kick heads to the center, skips over everybody's head as it now keeps on rolling. Finally collecting it is Roberto Velasquez, and this one just kind of booted up in the air, lands in the hand safely of Joseph Perez, who gets set to move the Cougars the other way. Perez an overhand throw to his brother Evan Perez, who now moves it back to Lekowitz. Lekowitz back to the goalie Joseph Perez, who sends it over to Aries. Aries is going to elect to go back to Joseph Perez again. Perez back to Aries. Playing some Jackie Moon soccer with each other, passing it back and forth. Finally, Olivet Nazarene gets a turnover, so they're going to push it the other way. But CUC right there, Joseph Perez, pressured heavily by Ruben Perez as well as Malachi Perkins. He dishes it off to Aries, who moves it up to Nicholson, who finds Velasquez as CUC tried desperately to escape their half of the field. And they're going to have to keep on waiting for it. And, Van, even though Olivet Nazarene isn't getting chances out of this necessary, they're doing a good job of just making it miserable for the Cougars to try and get over the 50-yard line of the pitch. I mean, CUC is having some great difficulties just getting it out of their own third right now. And if you're a team I mean, that's eventually going to result in something, you would think, offensively.
The Tigers seem to be very good on the defensive side, making sure, although the ball has stayed on their side majority of the time, making sure the ball is not towards the goal. There has been a lot of chances for the Cougars to get that actual goal. On the other side of it, the Cougars, when the ball is on their side for defense, it seems it's a little bit more chaotic in a sense where they're trying to play keep away more in a sense of trying to get the ball out.
Shot on goal by Garrett Pointer, saved by Shigoya. Barely had to go anywhere for him, able to fall on top of it for the save. But as Van said, Olivet Nazarene doing a good job of just limiting those high-scoring chances for CUC. Shigoya has not really been challenged yet this game, despite his 2 saves on the day. And they've been picking up the pace on the Cougars side of the pitch as they're doing a good job just keeping the ball there. And, again, something will eventually come of that as long as you keep that pressure up. CUC now dealing with it in their own third once again, but Olivet Nazarene going to try and make something happen. Instead, here's Spencer Nicholson. Moves it ahead to Garrett Pointer. Pointer, the driving force of the Cougars' offense so far this year, tries to dish it up ahead to DeSantiago. Instead, it's kicked out the end of the field by Olivet Nazarene, which means we're going to get a corner kick from DeSantiago and a prime scoring chance here for CUC.
The Cougars really need to capitalize on these corner kicks because it seems like these are the best opportunities for them to score on the Tigers side. They've been really using the defenders a lot to kick that ball out so they get more throw-ins for the Cougars.
DeSantiago found a man in Yanez on the corner kick, but Yanez not getting a ton on the shot. Olivet having no issues picking it up defensively. Now CUC back on the near sideline. Here's one towards and in front of the goal as it's going to dribble out the near sideline. And it's going to be a throw-in for ONU. Throw-in will be courtesy of Caleb Villalobos. As Aries for CUC comes flying in, tries to disrupt the pass. Olivet Nazarene dealing with it now on their own half. Here's a long kick down. It's a race for it between the two Perez's. Offsides called on ONU. So CUC might caught a break there. There's a one-on-one race to the ball by Joseph Perez for CUC and Ruben Perez for ONU, but want to get to see the winner of that one as it was called offsides. Now Lekowitz, a big kick down, and Garrett Pointer almost able to receive it if it wasn't for the header from Braden Connors. Sending the ball the other way. ONU right at the 50-yard line, trying to dance around CUC defenders. Instead, Giovanni Velasquez picks it up, moves it the other way for CUC. The ball gets bounced back now. Slide from Luke Swallow to push it ahead. Whistle called on ONU. Free kick coming up for CUC. DeSantiago. Aries. Nicholson. And that kick hits the ref. Official shakes it off like a champ, and the ball keeps going towards CUC's side. ONU has to move back a little, though, to get control of it. Hits the referee again. As we're going to get a stop and play now. ONU is going to keep possession. CUC got possession because it hits the ref's foot. Because of that, the official blows the whistle and says that ONU will get to keep it. As that does not last long. That ball out of bounds off ONU's foot. So CUC for a throw-in. 17-16 left to go here in the first half. Still looking for our first score of the day. Or of this game, I should clarify. Women's soccer did play before this. Lost to Augustana 2-0. As CUC men's soccer trying to salvage this beautiful Saturday afternoon in River Forest. At least give the home crowd one win to cheer about. CUC moving around Aries to Velasquez, all the way back to Yanez. Yanez now across the pitch to Perez. DeSantiago unable to get control of it, so ONU gets it back. Now here's a chance for ONU. Ruben Perez, guarded by Lekowitz. Ruben Perez gets bodied by Lekowitz. Fight for the ball. CUC comes away with it. Great one-on-one defense from Alexander Lekowitz on Ruben Perez.
Seems like the Tigers are taking every opportunity to set up these one-on-ones on their offensive side. Well, the Cougars need to find a way to establish those to get their high offensive team to convert those into goals.
Excellent point there. Ruben Perez has had a couple one-on-one opportunities for ONU. Of course, the most notable one was a one-on-one with Joseph Perez, the CUC goalie, and Joseph was the victor of that battle, making a doorstop save on Ruben Perez. Other than that, ONU, despite not scoring a goal yet and only having 2 shots on goal, have done a great job, as Van said, establishing those ISO situations and trying to just win the one-on-one, while Cougars more settling for outside shots and hopefully throwing stuff towards the goal. As here comes ONU now. Perkins, a shot, diving save. Joseph Perez going airborne for it. Gets a hand and knocks it away. Highlight reel save for number 35 and goal for CUC. And ONU, who are inches away from getting their first goal, are going to have to settle for a corner kick here.
As we established before, Perez is very calm and collective in these stressful situations because of his 5th year and time on the court. Thus, this allows him to fully use everything when he goes at it.
The ball goes out of bounds. Joseph Perez coming off that highlight reel save with the goal kick. Ball moved up. Now here's another one-on-one. Offsides. Ruben Perez. Again, another one-on-one opportunity. This one squandered by the offsides call. Ruben Perez has been causing headaches for the CUC defense. And now here comes Pointer across to DeSantiago. DeSantiago looking ahead. Shot, it's blocked on its way off the foot. That was immediately after DeSantiago kicked it. Goes out the back end, so CUC will get a corner kick out of it. DeSantiago will do it himself. 13:28 left to go here in the first half. Still looking for our first goal of this game. The goalkeeper's a big reason for that. Trigoya with 2 saves. Joseph Perez with 3 as this ball is centered. Headed up by Velasquez, bouncing around. Velasquez now is going to reestablish possession for the Cougars, who pull it out as Evan Perez sends something in. This one, a header, and Trigoya right there. That could have been disastrous off the head of Trigoya's own defender, but he's able to stumble back and pick it up out of the bounce. And Van, about Trigoya, kind of an interesting goalie to watch. He's kind of been stumbling almost a little bit, falling over his own feet, but despite how dirty it may look at times, he's getting the play done. It might not be the prettiest thing, but he's keeping the ball out of the net.
He seems very scrappy at the goal, making sure keeping the ball out is his main priority, not looking pretty.
Yeah, as opposed to what we've seen from Joseph Perez, a beautiful airborne save. But whether it's a save like that or just being able to fall on top of one at your feet, save is a save at the end of the day, and because of it, we have this 0-0 tie with 12:08 left to go now in the first half. In terms of shots total, Olivet Nazarene sitting at 5, 3 of which have found the net, while the Cougars have 4, 2 of which have been on goal. As Garrett Pointer now pushes it ahead. DeSantiago able to pick it up, and he's tripped. And it might be a penalty kick as Olivet Nazarene trying to argue it's out of the yellow box that surrounds the goal. That's where the penalty kick is usually called. The Cougars able to get the whistle on the DeSantiago trip as the yellow card, I believe, was pulled, or to see exactly from up here. We'll wait for that official call. The foul, at least, was on Dylan McCoy of Olivet Nazarene. So free kick here. It is for DeSantiago. Penalty kick, I should say, as he's got a prime chance to score here. 1-on-1 with Chagoya. Best scoring chance of the day for CUC is the official making sure the ball is in the right place. Every player besides DeSantiago and Chagoya holding their breath right now, waiting to see if we get our first goal of this game. 10:38 left to go in the first half. Whistle blown. DeSantiago lines up, and the kick, and it's in the bottom left corner. Elias DeSantiago breaks the scoreless tie for CUC, and the Cougars are now on top of the Tigers 1-0 here in River Forest.
DeSantiago using all his power into that kick, going for the left side where the keeper was just shy of, making sure that the Cougars finally get that point. This was a perfect opportunity because the Tigers' defense have been strong all day.
Yeah, when the defense is playing strong, if you get a penalty kick like DeSantiago did, you have to capitalize on it because you don't know if you're going to be able to break the defense, elsewhere. So DeSantiago does just that, capitalizes on the penalty kick, gives his team a 1-0 lead as we are just about at the 10-minute mark left in the first half. 35 minutes have passed. 1 goal has been scored on the season. That was goal number 2 for DeSantiago. Adds to his point total. We'll sit at 4 now. Again, second on this squad to Garrett Pointer as Spencer Nicholson loses the ball to the ONU defense. Yanez now fighting for it as Malachi Perkins boxes out the ball. He falls to the ground, whistle blown. ONU with the possession. Free kick coming up here for Titus Rivas. Do you see a CUC sub? Was just about to comment, actually, how we haven't seen any substitutions yet this game. Both benches a little shorter than you normally will see with collegiate teams. But first-year head coach Brad Callahan of the Cougars looks to be making his first strategic decision in terms of his sub in the upcoming minutes once we get a break here. Ball batted around, trying to juke his way past the defenders is Villalobos. This one going into the corner. Villalobos still fighting for it. Eventually centers it for Perkins. Perkins now tries to pull it out. It gets stopped by Nicholson. Now he's able to pick up the ball. Here comes Pointer. He kicks it back to Nicholson, who dishes it up ahead to Andrew Lechuga. He receives it. Looking in from the far sideline. He's going to kick it up ahead, and it's turned over. Not sure who that kick was intended for, and it gets kicked out of bounds. Almost out of bounds. Somehow stayed in, picked up by Lekowitz in front of the ONU bench. 8 minutes left to go here in half number 1. Cougars up 1-0 thanks to the penalty kick goal from Elias DeSantiago. Here's Yanez, but actually coming away with it is Velasquez for the Cougars. He brings it into his own half to reset DeSantiago now near sideline to Aries. Aries back to DeSantiago. Pointer able to move around his defender. Now has to do it again to David Garcia. He hands it off. DeSantiago picks it up. Lekowitz finds Nicholson. dishes it up ahead to Yanez. Yanez almost got in front of his defender, but good box out there by Braden Connors, and a result in a goal kick from Chagoya.
This is a time for the Cougars to specifically emphasize on their defense coming up here. With having one goal, they can slow on the reins on offense, but still come in as powerful as they have throughout the game.
And we have seen our one substitution of the game so far. Joseph Smiraglio checks into the game for CUC, tags out Andrew Lechuga. As we're under 6.5 minutes left to go in the first half, Cougars trying to put something together offensively. It's been a struggle. Only had 3 shots on goal, one of which was the penalty kick goal from DeSantiago. So besides the penalty kick, only 2 shots on goal in regular play for CUC as they're going to throw in here. Velasquez elects to take it. Just a little dump into Aries. Velasquez now has to move around his defenders. Ball kicked out, Aries again. Moves it back to Yanez. Yanez now going to send it all the way back to Joseph Perez, who looks ahead. Elects to just dish it back to Yanez. Yanez. And 2 players hit the ground there. Whistle blown. As there's a Cougar on the ground in number 21, Roberto Romero. Yellow card pulled on Titus Rivas, senior defender for the Olivet Nazarene Tigers. CUC now with a free kick here. Velasquez will be the one to kick it off. Romero is back on his feet, should mention. So we'll shake off that little, looked like he got caught on the shin on the foul, which is what caused him to fall. And now here comes Smiraglio. This one able to find its way towards the net. Don't believe that'll go down as a shot. Right there is Chagoya with the save, or at least the gather. Again, don't know if that'll be a shot and a save, but Chagoya comes out and makes it. Now drop kicks this one all the way into the Cougars' 35-yard line. A hard header from Yanez sends it back, and ONU able to collect the rebound. As this one's dished up now, Joseph Perez is going to come and make the sliding grab, beats the offensive player for Olivet. DeSantiago. He gets pursued from behind by Juan Aguilar. So he gives it to Nicholson, who gives it to Pointer. Pointer now slicing through the defense, kicks it ahead for Smiraglio. And he's centering it, hits the crossbar. A hard shot there from Joseph Smiraglio, and I think it hit both crossbars. We see the soccer goal crossbar and then the bottom crossbar of the field goal. I think it hit both of them. Either way, it's ONU ball. 3:54 left to go in the first half. And then hit from behind was Juan Aguilar by Smiraglio. Yellow card pulled on Joseph Smiraglio. Number 15 in white for CUC. The one sub we've seen today from Concordia.
Seems like the Tigers reserve team needs to establish an offense here towards the latter half of the first half, making sure someone other than Perez is getting those one-on-ones and shooting those shots.
Yeah, most of this ONU offense has come from Perez and some lucky one-on-one breaks that ended unluckily as they weren't able to find the back of the net. but not a lot of organized team offense in terms of centering kicks, some nice plays and passes, whatever you want to say. Because of that, big reason they're down 1-0 right now as we approach 3 minutes to go here in the first half.
However, their organized defense is definitely strong to say. Their team is good at moving the ball around, making sure the Cougars do not get an opportunity to score, but also making sure that they get the ball out if it's close to the other side, or just kicking it out for just a throw in for the Cougars.
Again, the only goal today came off the penalty kick from DeSantiago. Other than that, the Cougars have just had 2 shots on goal in terms of settled play, as ONU might have something here. Perkins, it's a race, and coming out and winning it is Joseph Perez. He's been extremely aggressive on those runouts, and so far he's got a perfect track record. Even Perez moves it to Pointer now, who deals with it in the middle third. Pointer running around his defender, still controls it. Now he's got 2 guys on him. He's trying to work around them, and it's kicked out of bounds by Caleb Villalobos as we are at 2 minutes remaining in the first half. Aries to Yanez. DeSantiago back to Yanez, who now finds Nicholson. He gets pushed to the ground. No whistle blown. Refs let him play. Here comes Perkins. So he gets tangled up. No whistle there either. Refs letting the game get a little physical here as we enter the last 90 seconds of half one. Perkins now finds Villalobos as ONU trying to figure out who wants it in the middle of the Cougars' third. And into the corner to get it goes Villalobos. He centers this one, and it's kicked away out of bounds by Lekowitz. Outstanding play there defensively by the Cougars sophomore out of Chicago.
Looks like someone went down on that slide tackle by ONU.
Everyone gets up, make sure they're okay. As we got a corner kick now. Clock still ticking. So we're at 40 seconds left in the first half. Villalobos will get the corner kick going for CUC. As it is over a header, and it's up and through the uprights. If we were playing football, it would be good for 3 points, but on the soccer field counts for nothing except a goal kick for CUC now. Under 20 seconds left to go in the first half. As Joseph Perez might just try to kill some time here and make sure the ball comes nowhere near his net again, as he absolutely bombs this one downfield. Under 10 seconds to go here in the first half. Velasquez, I think, just trying to dirty it up. He's going to send it down as the buzzer rings, and that'll do it for the first half of action here from River Forest, as we are in game number 2 of today's soccer doubleheader. CUC men's team taking on the Olivet Nazarene University Reserve men's soccer team. And right now, CUC on top 1-0 thanks to the penalty kick goal from Elias DeSantiago. So we're going to take a break for halftime, and we'll come back. We'll have the second half action for you as the Cougars look to clinch their first win of the season here on home turf.
University Chicago is a Christ-centered Lutheran university where truth, freedom, and vocation form students for lives of influence and service for the common good. Our university offers a wide variety of undergraduate and graduate degree options that are available in person and online. That means we have a program designed for you. Whether you're a high school student, an adult returning to complete your degree, or someone looking to enhance your credentials and prepare for career growth. As a member of this university community, you'll also find support in your spiritual and personal life so you can grow in the faith and discover ways to serve others. To start your next journey with us, visit cuchicago.edu today.
I'm Monica here at Concordia University Chicago, and we're here outside of Concordia Hall. Concordia Hall is the university's newest residence hall, right on the edge of campus, perfect for students who want to explore the nearby downtown of Oak Park and River Forest. The flexible suite-style living in fully furnished bedrooms lets students choose what works best for them. Every floor is complete with a community lounge and full common kitchen, with a kitchenette, microwave, sink, and refrigerator. The first floor offers the Victory Lounge, connecting to 2 additional residence halls, with no shortage of ways to relax. You're also right next to an open, outdoor plaza, better known as Victory Lane. So now we're here in Concordia Hall's suite-style dorm room, and this is a really nice place to just hang out and chill. And since it's so big, there's plenty of room to spread out and do your homework and just relax. So now making our way into one of the bedrooms, there's plenty of space in this room for you and your roommate. A lot of times students will move the desks so that they've got their separate study space, but my roommate and I, we get along really well, so we can just work together here in the same space. Sometimes I like doing art as well, as you can see by the painting here. It's a 16 by 10 feet space, and most rooms on campus are 10 by 12 feet. So it's really nice to have a little extra space to work with here in Concordia Hall. So this hall is super close to the chapel and the Kennedy Community Center, which has the new Crossroads Dining Hall. So the location is super convenient. And I really love the city scene too. The location here is the closest on campus to the Oak Park River Forest downtown area, which has a ton of great stores and restaurants. Speaking of the city scene, I adore the view from this lounge because you can see the Chicago skyline right there. Concordia Hall at Concordia University Chicago.
Student and choose to stand tall for healing at a university that places Christ at the center and embraces teaching students to live a life fulfilled by purpose and meaning. Concordia University Chicago's new Bachelor of Science in Nursing degree is an innovative and rigorous 4-year program that will prepare you to rise to the daily challenges of a rewarding nursing career and serve a greater cause. Our newly built modern simulation center features 4 distinct spaces: a skills attainment lab, multi-specialty intensive care spaces, a health assessment learning center, and a simulated home environment. Due to our close proximity to many world-class teaching hospitals, CUC's clinical rotations offer an abundance of diverse and real-world experiences. Learn more about earning your BSN at a Christ-centered university today.
Welcome back to River Forest. Cougars on top of the Olivet Nazarene University Tigers reserve team 1-0. Peter Borkowski on the Cougar Sports Network, joined as always by Van Gato. And Van, this team is up 1-0, but there definitely are some improvements to be made, as that one goal came on a penalty kick from Elias de Santiago. So credit the Cougars for taking opportunity of that taking advantage of that opportunity. Got him crisscross there. But you're still hoping to see this offense kind of come alive in terms of settled play when penalty kicks are not alive. But you'd have to credit the ONU defense. They are playing some extremely tough defense right now.
Yes, De Santiago, the all-tournament player from last weekend, is coming out hot with that penalty kick. Well, on the other side, the Tigers have been playing this strong collective defense and very much have been communicating on how they're going to move the ball around. On the other side, the Cougars have been a little bit more chaotic with their defense, but have been effective at stopping the one-on-ones from Perez on the Tigers.
Ruben Perez of the Tigers with one shot on goal, but that doesn't tell the whole story, as he's been all over the field offensively. However, CUC goalkeeper Joseph Perez standing tall for his squad. 3 saves on all 3 shots he's faced. Meanwhile, Juan Chagoya for Olivet Nazarene, 2 saves on 3 shots on goal. The 1 goal he has given up, again, is on a penalty kick, so that one can hardly fault the keeper for. That's basically a guessing game, as the Cougars, some physical attack right here as they get the ball turned over on the attack. I'll bet Nazarene able to come away with it, though, in the end. Braden Connors moves it up the near sideline, kicks it right to Alexander Lekowitz of CUC, who moves it all the way back to Joseph Perez in goal. Joseph Perez sends it to the far sideline. Aries now, and this one gets through. Smirgliro centers it, and it's tipped before it gets to even Perez. It's tipped by ONU forward Dylan McCoy, playing way back in his own defensive end. Looks just as strong doing that. Is now De Santiago tries to get possession of it. It's now even Perez and McCoy fighting for it. Last touch before it goes out of bounds on McCoy. CUC ball thrown in by Perez. Here's Braden Connors now. A kick across to the far sideline. Fight for the ball. It goes out. Last touch by ONU. Thrown in. Nicholson. Here comes Pointer. Tries to dribble around his defender, turns it over to Roberto Velasquez, who eventually can't get it in control of his squad. ONU, CUC back with it. Aries to Velasquez, Velasquez to the middle, and Pointer goes to work on Perkins. Elects to dish it out to Lekowitz. Lekowitz now. He's going to put one on goal, and coming all the way out to make the grab is Chagoya. Chagoya, a big drop kick there. He's got some powerful kicks as he's able to send that ball all the way to the Cougars' 35 or 40. As here is Rivas now of ONU, gets tied up against his Cougar opponent and eventually makes its way up the far sideline. Pointer, not Pointer, as the ball moves the far sideline. This one's centered, and here's a shot. Flag called, though. Offsides on ONU. A golden opportunity there, going to go to waste.
Seems like the Tigers keep facing this offside call. Need to make sure that they are behind the defense when they're trying to use this ball and the momentum on their side.
It's ruined a couple of really good one-on-one opportunities in front of the net for ONU. And they're just not able to keep their team in line. Because of that, they're still looking at a goose egg on the scoreboard. As Ruben Perez, he's trying to get a call from the official, and now both Perez's race for it. Joseph of the Cougars grabs it. Rolls it to Aries. Aries now. Up ahead, but ONU able to grab it after Cougars number 7 Pointer not able to corral it. Now here's a shot, goes wide left of the net. Good opportunity there from Perkins, just not able to get it a couple feet to the right and put it on net. Because of that, it'll be a goal kick here for Joseph Perez.
ONU has been really struggling to convert these one-on-ones into points. We need to make sure they stay consistent as they are on defense.
Defense essentially keeping this team in the game, as they've not given up a goal on settled offense defense yet. As here's one on net off the foot of the Cougars, Chris Dibes. Christopher Dibes out of LaGrange, Illinois, Lyons Township High School. Able to put one on net, but right there is Chagoya for his third save of the day, rocking a 75% save percentage. As drilling it out and dishing it to the near sideline was DeSantiago. This one's centered, but it's headed away by Titus Rivas before a Pointer can get there. Goal kick coming up for Chagoya. Dibes, we were talking about him a second ago, one of just 2 CUC substitutions. Joey Smirglio in the first half, and now Dibes here in the second half. As, again, it is a shorter bench for CUC, and first-year head coach Brad Callahan electing to rely heavily on his starters, as Julian Yanez, Garrett Pointer, Spencer Nicholson, Giovanni Velasquez, Evan Perez, Elias DeSantiago, Brandon Aries, and Alexander Lekowitz have all played all 51 minutes so far here in today's contest. As here comes Smirglio, gets kicked away before he gets to it, however. ONU tries to send it down, headed back by Lekowitz, now pushed ahead by Evan Perez, but before it got to Nicholson, Roberto Velasquez right there. CUC does get control of it back. Nicholson, the Pointer. Lets DeSantiago decide what to do with it. He sends it all the way over to Aries. Aries now tries to center it to Smirglio, goes past him and out the near sideline. So out and U ball coming up. CUC fighting for it in the middle third. As Yanez leaves it for Nicholson. He's going to put a shot on wide right. Goal kick coming up for, going to say corner kick. Looks like that touched an ONU player before it went out. So Spencer Nicholson gets a corner kick out of his shot attempt. Looking to make anything happen for this CUC settled offense. It's been a struggle as he puts this one right into the hands of Chagoya, whistle blown. Looks like a violation on CUC, so Chagoya still gets to do a goal kick. Sent up the far sideline to David Garcia, loses it to another 24, Brandon Aries of CUC. Spencer Nicholson, some nifty moves to get control of the ball. Now it's sent ahead. This centering kick goes to nobody. Chiguaya will get a goal kick out of it. Chiguaya tries to find Caden Buxton. Said CUC right there to take it away. Smirglio trying to keep it in. He can't. It goes out of bounds. Goal kick coming up for ONU. Braden Connors, the one to do it. Giovanni Velasquez kicks it around, still trying to get control of it for CUC. ONU eventually picks it up. They're moving it the other way now. Sent to the far sideline. ONU trying to get an advantage here offensively. Centering kick from Ruben Perez, picked off by Joseph Perez before it reaches any of Ruben's ONU teammates. A long kick down into Olivet's half. CUC trying to get control of it, trying to get something going offensively other than the one penalty kick goal we've got so far. Here's even Perez. Perez is going to center this one. It's headed away by Rivas. Fight for the ball now. Even Perez comes in and takes it away, trying to just establish control of it for his Cougars. Ball sent towards the far sideline. Fight for it now between Villalobos and Chris Dibes. Middle of the field, even Perez sends it, tries to send it to his teammate Velasquez. Instead, right there is number 16, McCoy. Now, he might have something here. Dylan McCoy centers it, kicked away before it reaches Perkins, who was centered perfectly for a shot. Credit even Perez with the nice defensive play. And ONU still struggling to get something going offensively. Looking for the throw-in is Luke Swallow. Makes it all the way back to mid-pitch to Titus Rivas. Far sideline now. A little over 33 minutes remain here in regulation. Cougars clinging to a 1-0 lead over the ONU Tigers.
One of the Tigers' biggest strength, besides being on time for defense, is making sure to keep the ball in play and out of play, in both circumstances, making sure they could pass the ball along, making sure it is out of the Cougars' hands. On the other side, the Cougars' biggest strength is keeping the ball on the offensive side. Their defensive strategy is not always there, leaving opportunity for one-on-ones to occur for the Tigers. However, being offside has caused struggles for the Tigers.
Tigers just 3 shots on goal. The Cougars 4, 3 of which have come on settled offense. One was the penalty kick goal from Di Santiago. That centering kick from Luke Swallow is booted out by the CUC defender. Now the ball rolls all the way back to Joseph Perez.
This game has been very much stalemate on both ends. Really only seeing one opportunity for a goal to even be scored. If you're into chess, this is like a start of the board.
Yeah, no team has really found an advantage over each other. No team has gone on any big, prolonged offensive possession, has had multiple good shots in a row, or at least good chances in a row. Like Van said, we've really only seen one golden opportunity, and that was the Di Santiago penalty kick. Joey Smirglio did have a good shot, though, rang it off the crossbar. But other than that, nothing too productive here for either team offensively. CUC trying to turn that around here as we are under 31 minutes to go in regulation. Garrett Pointer puts one, and it's deflected away. Looked like it would have been a good opportunity for Pointer as Chagoya was on the ground already, but instead it's deflected away.
As we talked about before, Chagoya is not very much of a confident staying up type of keeper. He is very much, not in a sense sloppy, but he will be as scrappy as possible to get that ball ensured not to go in.
That corner kick headed away, but to expand on what Van is saying, you have one keeper like Perez who seems very graceful in his movements, very intentional, and then you have a keeper like Chagoya who, like Van said, I think scrappy is a really good word for it, not in a negative connotation whatsoever. Again, he's played very well today, 4 saves on the 4 shots he's faced in terms of non-penalty kick shots. And again, penalty kick shots, just an absolute coin toss in terms of are you going to guess the right way or not. But, and he's definitely not, I think refined might be the right word, but he is just a sophomore, so he's still got a couple years to get there. But if he can refine that raw talent he clearly has, then he's going to turn himself into a nice goaltender by the time he leaves ONU. For now, he's done everything he can to keep his team in it. As this ball is set all the way down to Perkins, and whistle blown as we have an ONU player down. Yellow card issued to Elias D. Santiago of the Cougars. That player down is what looks to be David Garcia. It is David Garcia for ONU. Garcia gets up, shakes it off. Free kick coming up here for the Tigers. It'll be Titus Rivas to do the honors. Under half an hour left in regulation now, 29-16 to be exact. Rivas eventually finds its way to Luke Swallow. Swallow. This one goes over everyone's head and rolls all the way to Joseph Perez. Perez, far sideline, finds a man in Aries who's quickly jaunting his way up the sideline.
As the time clicks away, the Tigers really need to establish themselves on offense, seeing the score is 1-0 right now. They want to catch up to the Cougars.
Now this ball almost making its way to the goal. Coming out and making the sliding grab is Chagoya. As now he hurls it the near sideline. Nice play there by Chagoya to come out and stop that ball.
Chagoya fits in perfectly with the ONU Tigers because their defense is so strong. A scrappy keeper like that can really put up some numbers and some saves with a solid defense.
Here's a shot, and it goes out left of the goal. Chagoya gets set for a goal kick. Far sideline with Rivas. Sends it up. Fight for the ball now. A couple purple, a couple white jerseys all fighting for it. This one's going to roll all the way back to Perez. Joseph Perez dishes it out to Lekowitz. Lekowitz now tries to move it up to Velasquez. Intercepting the pass was Garcia of ONU. And scrappy fight for it. It goes the way of CUC. 27 minutes to go in regulation. CUC trying to hold on to that 1-0 lead, while Olivet Nazarene looking to force some extra soccer at the very least. Whistle blown as we have a substitution out. Titus Rivas is going to check out of the game for ONU. Coming in will be number 29, Luke Daniels. CUC ball after the whistle blown. Sent across the pitch to Aries. Aries now dishes it to Pointer. Pointer runs into some trouble as he's going the wrong way. CUC able to come out on top because of it. Aries now pops it up, far sideline. Dibes jumps up, heads it back in. ONU tries to send it down. Here's Nicholson. Another ball popped up in the air as multiple players fighting for it. Here's Pointer trying to juke around the defense, puts one over the goal. I think it was wide left as well. Garrett Pointer, nice individual effort to get something off, but not able to put it on goal. It'll be a goal kick coming up for Shigoya. Shigoya. Kick is up and headed back to Olivet side by DeSantiago. Goes out of bounds, so ONU throw in coming up. Daniels will be the one to throw it in. He looks to go to Shigoya in goal. Who kicks it back to Daniels, able to receive it in the stomach, and now trying to juke around Spencer Nicholson. He gives it away. Coming up the field with it is Velasquez for ONU. Velasquez gives it back to Luke Swallow, who sends it upfield. Nice stop there by Yanez, able to get a foot up and move the ball the other way. That was wrong. Looks like it was destined to go towards the CUC net. Santiago moves it to Pointer. Pointer dribbles around his defender. Gives it off. Here comes Aries. He's going to put a shot on. Just gets a piece of it. It is Shigoya. Nice save there by the ONU keeper. It's going to be a corner kick for CUC, but Shigoya elevating for that one.
Cougars are looking up to spice up this game, using as many attempts as they can to get that second goal on the board.
They'll have a good chance here as well. Corner kick. It'll be Julian Yanez to start the play off. Just over 23 minutes here in the second half remain. Yanez gets set. The corner kick, and it's kicked around and eventually out in front of the goal. So nothing comes of that corner kick. CUC still possessing it, though. So Ruben Perez comes in to try and change that. He does. ONU gets it. Now ONU, and it's Michael Brody. Brody, he centers it. Ball is still being kicked. And CUC looks to get possession of it, and they finally are able to just kick it out of bounds. That's going to give their defense a chance to reset. We get a pause here. Some substitutions coming in. Brody checks out. Coming in is Robert Leakey. Throw in from ONU. It's down into the corner towards no one, so it goes out the back of the pitch. CUC goal kick coming up. Just over 22 minutes left in regulation, over halfway through the second half. As both defensives have made this one kind of a slug fest, as both teams just fighting for every inch of the pitch they can get. No team has scored a goal in terms of settled soccer. The only goal on the board was the DeSantiago penalty kick. Other than that, these defenses standing tall, these goalkeepers standing tall. Joseph Perez with 3 saves, no goals. And Juan Chagoya on 5 saves, 1 goal allowed on the penalty kick. As CUC fighting for possession in Olivet Nazarene's third. They lose it. This one's sent ahead to Ruben Perez. He's one-on-one with Lekowitz. Perez trying to beat him, gives himself some space. A shot right into the hands of Joseph Perez. Good positioning there from the Cougars goalkeeper. Didn't even have to move his feet. Just the ball came right to him, and he's going to give his team a chance to move the other way now. Drop kick intended for Smirglio. Instead bounces to Pointer, who gets pressured. Velasquez to Lekowitz in the middle of the pitch. Moving towards ONU's third. Here's Smirglio. He tries to center it. No one's there except Robert Leakey. Pointer now goes to work on Juan Aguilar. Whistle blown. Pointer knocked down.
The Cougars, in their attempt to move the ball around, seem to face some struggles having the ball turn over a couple times. But they really need to capitalize on getting this ball forward and setting up these one-on-ones to score and not use just a penalty kick to create a bigger dividend between the Tigers and the Cougars.
Aries and DeSantiago talking things over as they get set for a really good free kick in terms of field positioning just inside the 25-yard line. The kick from DeSantiago is over the net. He elected to just go for the shot. Misses the net, so goal kick coming up for Chagoya. We're under 20 minutes now, 19:23 to be exact in regulation. So you see desperately hanging on to that 1-0 lead. They look for their first win on the season. A substitution in. Tyler Hall checks in for ONU, number 14 in purple. Brian Aldridge also checks in, number 18 for ONU. And Chagoya launches his goal kick down and hits the chest of DeSantiago, bounces back towards ONU's side, goes out off the team in purple. And now here comes Spencer Nicholson, a very high centering pass. Goes out of bounds, so goal kick again for ONU. Then McCoy back in for ONU as well. Chagoya gets his team started the other way. They need to escape their own half, as they haven't done that in a minute now. So you see, despite not scoring this half, have done a good job of just keeping the ball on Olivet's side and giving their defense and goalkeeper Joseph Perez an easier time. This one starts to roll towards Perez, picked up immediately by Yanez, who goes out of bounds off of Olivet. So CUC throw-in coming up. CUC set for a throw-in. excuse me, it's just kicked off by DeSantiago after the whistle. Here's Chris Dybez working on Luke Daniels. Dishes it to Spencer Nicholson. Nicholson. Ball rolls into the center of the field, kicked away by Luke Swallow. Here's Evan Perez now. Across to DeSantiago. Now here's Pointer. Pointer up to Dybez. Dybez tries to center it and over the head of Evan Perez. Just could not get up for it. Fortunately, Velasquez able to receive the ball on the near sideline. It's kicked out, though, by Dylan McCoy. So CUC throw-in coming up.
The Cougars seem to be just shy of setting up these opportunities, going over or just missing the other players on the other side.
So ONU moves it down the near sideline. They need to get some more sustained offense here as they are quickly running out of time in regulation to even this one up. Just one goal will do it, but that one goal has been extremely hard to come by for either team, really. But Cougars got a fortunate break, and DeSantiago's penalty kick, able to convert on it. And now they're clinging that 1-0 lead for their life, trying to win their first game of the season. Have dropped games to Earlham, Anderson, and University of St. Francis. Ball goes out of bounds, last touch on CUC. ONU throw-in coming up. Cougars will be back at it tomorrow, Sunday afternoon, a 1 p.m. start time against Albion College. Coverage for that game can be found on the Cougar Sports Network. The live stream here on our YouTube page, CUC Sports, as Velasquez moves it up. Here comes Smirglio. He's got good positioning. Smirglio, the shot, one-handed save from Shagoya. Lays out for it, able to get just a hand, maybe just a few fingers on the ball, but using all of his height on it. Shagoya, a tall goalie, lays out for that one and just gets enough on it to divert it away from the goal.
He's fully flopping in the best way possible to get that ball out of possession of the Cougars and making sure that ball does not go into their goal.
Shagoya continuing an excellent day in goal. He's been having a lot of work sent his way, and he stood tall for all of them. 6 saves so far on the game, for Shagoya. But again, this men's team back at it tomorrow, 1 p.m. against Albion. Live stream on our YouTube page, CUC Sports. That's what you're watching this game on currently. And then conference play begins the game after that this upcoming Wednesday, September 13th, when the Cougars travel to Rockford University for the first game against a Northern Athletic Collegiate Conference opponent. Those are the games that really start to matter in terms of playoff race, as Smirglio, another good positioning. Unfortunately, he runs into a defender in Juan Aguilar, who's able to disrupt them. Ruben Perez sends it up ahead. Here comes McCoy. He's got 2 CUC jerseys in front of him, and Yanez eventually able to peel the ball away from McCoy and give it to Joseph Perez. Here comes Garrett Pointer now. Pointer moving in. He's going to put a shot on, and it's over the head of Shagoya. It hits the football crossbar, which means it will be a goal kick for Shagoya. And if it hits the crossbar, means it should be going out if the crossbar wasn't there, so results in a goal kick. .12:39 left to go in regulation, as it is just about 10 minutes away from hitting 6 o'clock here in Central Standard Time. Been a long day of soccer here at Concordia University Chicago. The women's team dropping their game 2-0 to Augustana. Now the men's team just over 12 minutes away from pulling off their first win of the 2023 season. And then the weekend continues tomorrow with that 1 o'clock Albion game, with the men's team taking action one more time before conference play starts. In terms of other Cougars athletics, it's been a full weekend. Both cross-country teams were at the North Central College Cross-Country Invitational yesterday. The men's team did not rank as a team, while the women's team finished 5th of the 6 teams there. Meanwhile, women's tennis was in action here in River Forest, a 7-2 loss against Illinois Wesleyan University, as the bouncing ball picked up by Shigoya. He quickly throws it down the field. He knows he's got to get his team in gear quick, as foul call on Roberto Velasquez on the ground holding his ankle. See if he might need medical attention. So clock stopped. I think we're going to get the trainer out here, as Velasquez being stretched out. Might be some cramps starting to take effect. It is a warmer day in River Forest.
Soccer is one of those sports where it is constantly about making sure you're hydrated and making sure you eat enough, because you are constantly running on.
Cougar fans, thanks for tuning in to today's game. For more information on the men's soccer program, head to CUCougars.com. We hope to see you at our next game.
Time over almost an hour now.
Yeah, and when you add in the fact that we've only had one break in the action for a goal back in the first half, and you get periodic breaks of, players getting substitutions, but like Van said, when there's not a ton of substitutions either, that means you're just not getting a ton of small breaks at all. And that means you're pretty much having 2 45-minute periods of just straight running, which is going to wear down just about anybody on the field. But continuing the CUC sports recap from this weekend, in terms of what we've seen today, the women's tennis team was in action early at 10 a.m. start time in their first Northern Athletics Collegiate Conference matchup of the year, and they're able to pull out a big victory over Marian University, 7-2, right here at the CUC tennis court. So for a team who rolled into that conference game winless, being able to come out 1-0 in conference play, a huge confidence boost to the women's tennis team here at CUC. Football-wise, the team dropped their game at Oberlin College 37-35, a shootout in Oberlin, Ohio. And like I said, women's soccer fell to Augustana today, 2-0. Men's soccer up 1-0 under 11 minutes to go against ONU. And men's soccer will conclude the weekend tomorrow, at least the soccer weekend tomorrow, against Albion. The women's tennis team has 2 more matches against Anderson and Elmhurst University in Elmhurst. The time for those matches is to be announced. As here comes Ruben Perez. He's going to look to center it now as his angle got cut down. Lekowitz pokes it out, and that'll set up a corner kick for Ruben Perez. Perez doing what he's been doing all day, of just being a nuisance offensively, giving his team good positioning. As he gets set for the corner kick. Way too strong. It is headed back towards the goal, but not before Giovanni Velasquez can get in front of it, knock it away. And Joseph Perez right there to snag the ball. CUC trying to escape their own third, as ONU has less than 10 minutes now to even this one up before regulation ends. CUC trying to pull off their first win of this season. McCoy, he tumbles to the ground, no flag. Here's Aries. Aries dances around his defenders, gives it to Smirglio. who quickly loses it. ONU sent ahead. Perez as well as Lekowitz racing for it. Lekowitz wins it, and he just kicks it out of bounds, gives his defense a chance to set up. McCoy moves around even. Perez hangs on to it. Nice handle there by McCoy. As he's going to get closer and closer, he centers it, and no one there. A huge chance for ONU as Joseph Perez came well out of the net to make the play. That ball just rolled in front of the net with nobody in the net. But ONU not able to tap it in. Ball goes out off of the Tigers. As we have a CUC player down with injury now. We'll have to see if the trainer comes out now or if it's just a matter of stretching him out for a second. That player down was even. Perez, he's going to try to just walk it off. As everyone takes a much-needed break here. 8:34 left to go in regulation. Final push here for ONU while the Cougars desperately hanging on to that 1-0 lead.
Callahan looks to establish his first win as a Cougar tonight against the Tigers of Olivet Nazarene University.
And Brad Callahan, first-year head coach of CUC, trying to get his first win as a head coach at this program. Hopefully establish some momentum before conference play begins next week on Wednesday. And they will have one final tune-up game tomorrow at 1 against Albion right here at Concordia. As there's going to be a foul on Giovanni Velasquez. He tried to go over Perkins to grab that ball, but could not complete the hurdle. This ball sent down. Ruben Perez receives it. Whistle blown offsides. Another offsides that is squandered any kind of Olivet momentum. We're under 7.5 minutes to go here. Chris Dibez racing into the corner. He pushes down his defender, so flag called. Free kick here for Olivet. Under 7 minutes now as Olivet still waiting to get this free kick off. Only down by 1, so it just takes one good shot to finally beat Joseph Perez, who's looking to get his first shutout of the season. First shutout in general for CUC. Lekowitz heads it out of bounds, gives his chance for his defense to catch up, establish themselves. And we're about to hit the 6:30 mark remaining in the second half. Ball bounced around. McCoy pops it up. Ruben Perez loses it. Lekowitz fighting for it with Perkins. Whistle blown. Offsides on ONU. Another call.
Really seems like ONU is really struggling staying on the other side of the defense for the Cougars.
Plenty of offsides calls all day against ONU. And they're suffering because of it. It's hard to generate any kind of momentum when you keep getting whistled. As we are under 6 minutes to go now. CUC been holding on to that 1-0 lead since Elias Di Santiago potted goal. Here's a shot on net. It's blocked away. Don't know if that was Perez or some other CUC defender who got a piece of it. But the Cougars are able to keep it out of the net after a golden opportunity from ONU, still keeping the score at 1-0, which, as I was saying, has stood since the 33-30 mark in the first half. ONU coming back the other way now. David Garcia puts this one on net, and Perez falls on it.
Perez at the net today has been standing very strong and very collective, having a lot of saves.
Yeah, Perez, so far today, 7 saves, no goals allowed. His opponent, Shigoya, has been almost as effective, 6 saves, 1 goal allowed, but you got to remember that 1 goal was a penalty kick. Hard to fault a keeper for that one. Either way, it is the difference in this one right now. 1-0 in favor of CUC.
Perez is really establishing his residency as a 5th-year player here at Concordia, making sure that the Cougars on the defensive side have a strong goalie.
This is a younger CUC team. It's a small CUC team. Not as much veteran leadership on it as there has been the last few years. So anywhere you can find it, like Perez, a graduate student, you're going to take it.
And coming from a keeper season of the 2021 year, having an established role on a team that made it to the conference tournament, which allows the team to have that backbone that they need, coming with a new coach and having younger players on the field.
And Perez looking to get back to that 2021 status after, due to some circumstances, not playing it as much in 2022. As Garrett Pointer, he's got a one-on-one. He's fighting for it with Roberto Velasquez. That's Braden Collins. Collins able to come away with it. But then turn it over to DeSantiago, Elias DeSantiago. His lone goal is the game winner as of now, as we are at 3 minutes remaining in regulation. No goal since the 33-10 mark of half number 1. As both defenses, both keepers are standing strong, keeping this one about as tight as it can get. Down far sideline. Throw in. Ball kicked in, I mean to say, and now Perez there to gather it. Smirglio can't keep it inbound, so ONU gets the ball as they are at 2 minutes remaining. It's crunch time here for the visiting team in purple. They need to make something and make something happen quick. Ball kept inbounds by Smirglio. Cougars just trying to kill some time on the ONU side of the pitch. And here's a chance for Pointer. He sends it wide right. Was pressured heavily from behind by the defense, so didn't get a clean shot on it.
Pointer really has been the only other Cougar besides Santiago that has made these attempts at the goal, trying to get the ball in play and trying to get this lead bigger for the Cougars.
1:35 left to go in the game. Ball popped up. Ends up on the wrong side of the track as ONU calling for a ball desperately. Finally getting one. Again, the clock does not stop on a ball that goes out of bounds. It's up to the ball boys to get them in quickly, to not waste any time. And that was probably a precious few seconds wasted. As this ball is coming near the sideline, even Perez pushes a man over, flag blown. Ball is going to stay with ONU for a free kick. They are under 45 seconds to go here. CUC looking for their first win of the year. Doing the kicking will be Luke Swallow. He might just have to send this one towards the net. Hope for something. It's up. It's headed around. The ball still up in the air. Bounces off a couple of heads. And flag blown on Olivet Nazarene. And with just 20 seconds to go, goal kick coming up for the Cougars. This one should do it as Joseph Perez launches the ball down. 10 seconds to go. CUC's just got to keep it dirty here at the midfield. Luke Swallow and Velasquez fight for it. Luke Swallow throws it in. Whistle blown. We're going to get a stoppage of time. The clock reads 0. But the ref blew their whistle. 5 seconds put on the scoreboard. Absolutely last chance here for Nazarene. Titus Rivas has to have a big throw in here. It just hits the top of Giovanni Velasquez. Head bounces out, and now the final buzzer sounds, and your CUC Cougars pick up their first win of the 2023 season. An absolute barn burner as CUC took the lead at the 33-10 mark of the first half, thanks from the Elias Di Santiago penalty kick, and they were able to hold on to that 1-0 lead all the way through. You look at some of the stats, of course, the big one is the man in net, Joseph Perez. 7 saves, no goals allowed. He picks up his first shutout of the season, CUC's first shutout of the season in general. But his man on the opposite side of the field, Juan Chagoya, goalkeeper for Olivet Nazarene, almost just as effective. 6 saves, 1 goal allowed, and it was on a penalty kick. So absolute excellence from both keepers today. Meanwhile, in terms of the field players, the lone goal came from Elias Di Santiago's goal kick. Shots on goal, however, 2 from Garrett Pointer, and then 1 from Di Santiago, Brandon Aries, Alexander Lekowitz, Joey Smirglio, and Chris Dybez. Meanwhile, 4 Olivet Nazarene shots on goal came from Malachi Perkins, 2 from Ruben Perez. Juan Aguilar, Dylan McCoy, Roberto Velasquez, David Garcia all had 1 as well, none of which were able to beat Joseph Perez and the CUC Cougars, who pick up win number 1 on the year. Van, before we close out this broadcast, let's get your final thoughts on a very gritty win, a very much needed win for CUC.
The Cougars this year have established themselves as a strong offensive team, but when they were playing a team like the Olivet Nazarene and University Tigers, they encountered some struggles on the defensive end for them, which is a huge problem since when you're an offensive-centered team, when it's not going your way on offense, it's really hard to continue the game and build that flow, but the Cougars found it through that penalty kick.
Well, Cougars will now improve to 1-3 on the season. They'll be back at it tomorrow against Albion College. A 1 p.m. start time. Coverage can be found at our website, cucougars.com. The live stream can be found right here on CUC Sports on YouTube. But before we sign off, I want to say a big thanks to everyone making this production possible on camera. We had Janie Turnez as well as Abby Kulig. Producing was Sydney Lloyd. Down field level on the table was Wyatt McLaughlin. Scoreboard for us today was Emily Balaban. Public address announcer was Chandler Kerr. Photos done by Sebastian Miller. And then we are under the direction of Sydney Plasky-Slaher and our sports information director, Kayla McLeod. But one final time, this is Peter Borkowski, joined by Van Gato on the Cougar Sports Network, signing off. Cougars take down Olivet Nazarene 1-0. They'll be back at it tomorrow against Albion at 1 p.m. But until then, this is Peter Borkowski, and wanting to say, as always, go Cougars.
Much for tuning in to today's Concordia University Chicago Cougars Athletics broadcast. We hope to see you on campus very soon. If you would like to learn more about what Concordia Chicago has to offer, go to cuchicago.edu.